Well, good afternoon and welcome to Show Me the Money Rugby TV. We've got another episode of the one, I think it's quite popular now, Sam, but we've got another episode of Inside the Deal. And who better to help me on this is my old mate, Jackie Boy. Jack, welcome to the show, son.
Cheers, mate.
I think, I'm sure it's out by now, I've just asked you on because I don't do social media, but I'm sure they've been told it got announced yesterday. And we thought we'd let people know how it happened, what's the reasoning, and where we go from there. So let's go from the top, Jack. I'll ask you some questions, and we'll be as honest as we can.
Yep.
First of all, you've been at Leeds since you were 14.
Yeah, 13, 14, yeah.
Come on then, how does it feel leaving the club of your dreams? I know when we first did your first big deal, you got quite a few offers, if you remember, and you thought you wanted to stay at Leeds, and that were wherever you did what you did in 17 and building up. And how do you feel?
I don't know. It was a bit of a strange one, really. I've been there since 14. It just obviously it feels like home. But then last year when I went to Hull, kind of went out of my comfort zone, and I just kind of felt like it's not the all, and it's just yeah. So it was good. It was good to get out of my comfort zone and a new challenge. And I mean, I'm just excited to go and play for Bradford, really, and just get some game time. I'm sick of getting injured, and I think it'd be good for me to go play for Bradford as well, just because they have weak turnarounds, don't they? Instead, these short turnarounds, and it'll let my body recover and just get back to playing what I do.
So just to give people an idea, Jack, because this is inside of the deal, is obviously I would have rang you up and said to you, look, Jack, we thought the move to Hull, first of all, I think Rowan had made it clear they wanted to see you play. They thought that they'd not seen you really play because you'd had some time off. And it's something I always say, and I hope Jack comes across as this. When somebody gets injured like Jack, a young lad, in the game, he does it on his shield. He doesn't do it riding a bike or in the middle of Tenerife or on a night out. He does it on the field. And it's usually with Jack, it's usually putting his body on the line and doing his best thing for the club. So when he's got injured, people say, oh, you're injured upon. I said, well, there's not many as brave as Jack. There wasn't many, in my opinion, who played at 17. At what weight were you at 17?
77, something like that.
Played in the grand final at 17, the youngest player ever, and played at 70-something kilos. And then you played a lot of games as a young man. Looking back, and this is only me looking back, that probably wasn't the best thing. That I can remember the fullback at Newcastle, Jack, and me and you talked about this, you might not remember. And I said to you, they took him away for 6 months.
Ponga,
to build his body up.
Yeah.
Because they didn't think his body could take the day-to-day because he was that young and that light. And then when he come back, he was about 6 or 8 kilos heavier. And he's not been injured hardly. He's got a good run compared to what were happening.
Yeah.
That never happened to you, did it?
No. So the year after the grand final was 2018. I think that was my only pre-season I had.
You've never had another pre-season?
So after that pre-season, no, I've been injured every single pre-season, whether that's I've had my shoulder operation, my foot, or I've torn my hamstrings or whatever. I've never had a full pre-season since then, so I've never really had a chance to build my body up. And I think, like you mentioned there with Kalen Ponga, I think that's huge, especially for any young lad coming through. And if someone's got like that got that potential there, then why not just take him out for six months and just build him up? And it just properly reduces the injury time and injuries and stuff like that. So, I mean, mate, but
how would you have felt though if Brian Mack had said to you at 18, Jack, I need you to take 6 straight? Well, you're doing what you're like.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. It's like,
but it's protecting you, isn't it?
Back then, but like when you're in the moment, you just think, I just want to play. Like, you don't really think about the future. You're just there and now. Like that's me. That's how I go from day to day basis. Just think of here and now. And it's, if I was to get told back then, you're not playing. You're just going to train for 6 months and this, that, and other. It's just like, because I went and played all them games in 17 and won the grand final, I just thought, oh right, this is me now. I can just play every single week. And it would have probably been for the best. Looking back now, obviously, in the future, but when you're there and when you're in the moment, I just want to play. I enjoy playing rugby, and that's all I want to do. And no one enjoys just training and just getting flogged on field and stuff like that. No one likes that. So I mean, yeah, it's just a tough one.
Yeah. And listen, I know what you want. You know, to give Brian and Leeds the thing, if they had to go out at that time, that you'd have been. You know, that's sometimes when the experience comes in, and they said, "This is the reason we're going to do this, because we want to play you at 35-year-old. We want you to play at 30." Yeah. We've got to prevent that. We don't want to get that many games. I always think parallel to Stevie Ward sort of thing, who had all them early games and then at 24, whatever, you know, out of the game because of constant. Sam Burgess historically played a lot of games as a young man and retired at 29, whatever it was. And so I think that, you know, that takes a brave coach and brave people, by the way. So rolling on, we're at Leeds. I probably thought you go to Hull. You had a great time at Hull. I can remember speaking to you regularly, and you were like big smile on your face. We got 2 or 3 minute matches, Jack, or have I made that up?
No, yeah, I think it was 2 or 3, yeah.
And then you're flying. I can remember saying, you said, and I hope I can quote this. You said, I think I've got a tight, something you had, and then it was the week before, and I was laughing because you was on, and I knew you were going to play. You were like, you're that confident as a kid. You're like, I could play with that, and I'd still be whatever. Without being big-headed, you'd still have the confidence to play.
Yeah.
And then, to do with your injury, you try and tackle Tommy Makinson in second to last.
So before the loan deal, when I went to Hull, the reason for not getting in selection for playing for the Rhinos was because my left hamstring wasn't strong enough. That was the only reason that I wasn't in selection. So I was training full time with Leeds, you know, like I was out on the field doing everything, doing my extras, gym, like everything, just to try and make it stronger. I think Rome was there for only maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks of when I was on my verge to going back. And I think Zach and Milo were playing really well. And I mean, for a new coach coming in, you can't really just when you start winning games and people are playing well, you can't just drop people. You know, he's not seeing what I can do really. He's only seeing what I can do in training. So when the opportunity came up to go and play for Hull, he says, you know, there's a chance there to go and play for Hull because he can't promise me game time at Leeds, which like I was understanding about. You know, it's fair enough. It is what it is. It's the business end of the day, and I was a bit nervous obviously going there because I'd been at Leeds my whole life, and like I said earlier, it was a new challenge and out of my comfort zone, and but really enjoyed it. All lads really welcoming, and got a good start and playing in the Hull Derby at Magic Weekend. Really enjoyed that. But yeah, it was. So I went there I played that game and my hamstring wasn't strong enough, but still back my ability, you know, to be able to do what I need to do. But it's just coming back early from injuries is what I've done majority of my career, whether it's 3 or 4 weeks early from my shoulder. Obviously I came back early with my foot, that went again. I think I've got to the point now where I truly understand I can't afford to be coming back early, because then it will, so maybe not 2-3 weeks, but 4 weeks, or it will come up and it will get you. So it's like I just need to make sure from now on that I'm 100% before going into a game. Maybe if that might cost me an extra game or an extra 2 games, it's still going to keep me on the field for the rest of the year, hopefully. So I think that's where I need to understand my body. But yeah, really enjoyed it at Hull, and yeah, Tommy Makers brought me ankles where they came over and played us and literally snapped my ankles. So really enjoyed Hull.
Well, when you snapped the ankle, it had nothing to do with your long-term injury. That was nothing to do with it, was it?
No.
Some people try and say, "Oh yeah, but compensation. That's why he's doing it." Yeah, and I said, "No, it was not to do with that. It's ridiculous."
No, my foot is like it's strong as it's probably as strong as my other foot, to be fair. And I asked the physio, says, has it got some sort of connection to when I did my foot? And 3 physios have said it's absolutely nothing. It's just the way So I planted my foot on the floor to make a right shoulder tackle because Tommy stepped on me inside, and all my weight's just gone, and my ankle's twisted and the ligament's just snapped. Like it's literally just one of them, and another unfortunate injury which I'm full of. But absolutely nothing to do with my foot. It was just tough injury.
Do you know what? You listening to you there, and again, how mentally tough you've got to be in this game. You've had. We said it on the other podcast we did. You've had that much. you've had that much good luck in a short time, but obviously then they paid you back in spades.
Yeah.
Whoever it is looking above, they've paid you back in spades. And I look at the lad who was so confident and still is so confident. And we were talking about taking the world on, and I always said when Gus Gold said, this is the kid they're all talking about in England, and he played Melbourne, and this is the super kid. I think Richie Mathers tweeted he's the best fullback I've ever seen very early on, and everybody was saying it. Sam Tom, everybody was saying this is the, and it's weird you're talking about it. Well, you're still a baby, really.
Yeah,
you're a young man. You're a young man, turn 23, and then this is the message I sometimes try and tell young players is, you can be king for a day, but this game's going to kick you.
Yep.
And you should come through it stronger. Jamie Peacock famously said to me, he doesn't think, I'm always trying to improve my own knowledge to help people, and he said you can't win grand finals unless you've been through a lot of tough times, because it breeds tough person. And he said when Leeds played Cass in the 17 final, obviously you played it, he was one of the only people I said back Leeds, and he said, well, why would they not? A lot of them lads have been through grand finals journeys. He said he didn't think Cass that year had anything negative, it were all just good. And he thought that was the wrong headspace to go into a grand final with, that Cass would just think it's going to happen, whereas Leeds lads have been through everything. Danny's the motivation of Danny's last ever game and all that, or coming out of it, and with the underdogs, it's not a bad, but I think it's a lesson to young players. What Jack's telling you is, whenever you think it's rosy, but this will make you stronger. We talked about it before. This will make you stronger. So we then go back. We think we win back to Leeds.
Yep.
Or Hull are going to make an offer. We talked about it. I think I spoke to Rowan and Gary, and to give Rowan some props on this, Jack said Rowan didn't really see anything of Jack, so he's coming to this and seeing the Jack not really playing any games, so it's hard for him to, for me, so us saying to Rowan, my God, this kid's unbelievable, but he's not had a chance to see this, but, and then we more or less, I think Hull suddenly said the cap space, that there was capped up and they couldn't make you an offer at this time. Week later, Jake left in the yeah. By the way, all the people who had a go at me when I called out, when I said that I thought Jake and Tony would be a very difficult match, and Jake said, Jake, I've told you before, I think you're unbelievable talent. But I was right. I was right whether how it's happened. It did happen. And that decision by you or Tony or Hull happened very quick. And I just could see it personality-wise. I just couldn't see it. It might be me wrong, but anyway, it happened. So then we think Hull said the capped, so we're on the way back to Leeds.
Yep. And
then, let's be honest, and this is the bit, I hope Leeds and everybody appreciates how honest we're being. There's no future for you at Leeds. That decision's been made, that they're keeping Myler and they're looking to, I think they didn't say it, but they was looking to sign Zach.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. How did you feel?
Gutted, because obviously I went to Hull to prove that what I can do to Rowan. Him coming in, not really know much about me, probably only seen previous games and stuff. That was my opportunity to go and prove what I can do and what I'm about really. And obviously to get the news that I'm not wanted back was I was gutted, but it's business end of the day, innit? And if that's their decision, that's their decision, and yeah,
we're going for you.
Yeah,
okay, and again, Jack, just to help young players, and this does happen in the game. It reminds me a lot of Ryan Braley when we took Ryan to OKR on really low wage. I hope you don't mind me saying it, but he took a big punt from him. He was bunted by Leeds at one time. It was this, is that, and then we decided to go to OKR. And I can remember saying to Ryan, "This is all they've got, money wise." And he's like you did at Hull. He's saying, "Yeah, don't matter. I'll go there. And if I do well, I know it'll change my life, and I'm willing to do it." Went to Liverpool, and he thought he'd done really well, and then come back and OKR offered him a deal. He's like, "Well, I played on no money. You don't want me on that." He couldn't believe it because Ryan's, to be fair to him, he's proven a lot of people wrong, and he's just come back with an unbelievable year, and you look at him, but it reminds me of that when you went to Hull, then suddenly, so Hull have said we've got no cat space. Leeds have made it clear there's no future.
Yep.
And then we make some phone calls and everybody's capped up. So is this right?
Yeah.
So I'm having to give you some terrible phone calls saying, look, we've asked quite a lot of people. A top 2 club actually showed interest, but they just got the fullback, and he said, can he play wing, and can he this and can he that, and good on the person who did that. There's a top club there, and what you saw in him, you know, I won't forget, we won't forget. You know, you made it clear that was something that you thought how good he was. It was just the utility value. I tried to pick one at hooker 6 and
yeah, best.
So people have been asking on social media around the rugby league world. I've had 40 texts I got last night, and if I'll be honest, I'm on the lash. I was the horse breeding. I were a bottle and a half of wine in after selling 6 horses for £3, and at worst, don't tell Marion, one of the worst afternoons of my life. So, and I get ding, 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 bang, 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 Matt Shaw, everyone's on, and I'll try and tell you what the reaction was. What the fucking hell? Walker going to, and then I got a couple of Bradford fans going, go on, son. You know, so we're quite a little mixed. We didn't tell you, but on the show, the great Michael Gledel, the game caller, has been asking us, Sam Annie, non-stop, please tell me Walker. I know it, and we've given him nothing, you know, no one's known about it. Give us your, I know why we did it, and well, I'm saying we, I always say we, but you, I know why you did it, because I know what type of animal you are as a lad. And I think it's so brave to do what I call the Luke Gale. Walk away from Leeds. He didn't have your exposure at Leeds. He was only playing one first team game in a friendly. But he went to Doncaster. And everyone just were like, what are you doing, Gailey? Well, the rest is history. Why Bradford? Why Championship? Why are we mad?
No, we're not.
I'm going to say yeah then.
No. I think the biggest thing, obviously we've had a chat and stuff about other clubs and what we can do, but when I had a chat with Mark, we went and had a coffee.
With Mark and Brian Noble?
Yeah. When I had a chat with him, it just kind of made sense with how he wanted to play and the direction he wanted to go. You know, it really caught my attention, and it's a similar style to what Rowan wanted to play. You know, that off the cuff stuff and offload. That's kind of my game, and I've not had that since 2017 when you have like the Adam Cuthbertson's offloading every set and stuff like that. So it kind of drew my attention straight away, and it was kind of a no-brainer, to be fair. Like after that, you know, with the talk and stuff like that, you know, I was happy to do it. And I'm not one of them people that are going to be real spiteful, you know, I'm going to stay in Super League. Like that doesn't bother me. It's since 17, what have I done? Like, I've not really done it. I've been injured half the time, so I've still got a lot to prove, and hopefully, obviously, with playing for Bradford, they have week turnarounds, you know, they only play a weekend and stuff like that, so it'll give me a longer time for my body to rest, and then go again on the weekend. So, I mean, like I say, I'm not going to be spite about it. I'm happy to go there, and I can't wait to get going.
It's weird you've used the word there about your turnaround, and this is... Every door that gets opened on you, the first thing they say is, oh, you know, if it proves, from my perspective, it would say to you, can you prove, all we're going to do is get 20 games. We get 20 games, everybody in the country, all over the world will come for you. We've got to get you 20 games at a high level, on the trot, and that's it. So people asking me, how would this deal happen? Well, this deal's probably different. It's not all about financial. Even though it's second highest paid since my offer. No, it's not all about financial. It's about Jack Walker playing rugby, and the Championship are in for a treat. You know, we've got a young lad who's potentially one of the best fullbacks, you know, in the country, if not around the world, going to come in. It should be a lesson to every player to say, get rid of ego, lads. If it comes to it and you want to play, I'm going to play rugby, and then I'll show everybody where we can go, you know, this journey. And I said this to you, I don't know if you remember, I said, we always have our negative and positives. What's the positive is, let's say Bradford finished top of league. let's say you're not the only signing, because I've had 2 players. Joe's had 2 players today. He said to him, Jack Walker's been there, put us down for Bradford, and that could snowball. Bradford are open. This snowballs. It's bad for Nigel because he'll have to get his checkbook out, which obviously he can't find it. You know, it's buried deep beneath. But if they dare, and I've said this before, Jack, this is the exciting thing for me. Featherstone, we don't know whether they're spending what they usually do. Toulouse are very quiet. Batley will be what they are because they're, you know, a determined team. They're great. They don't spend a lot. Why are Bradford not talking about winning it? You know, I keep thinking, well, why don't they talk about winning it? Because if you've got no Toulouse spending 1.2, no Leeds spending 1.2, no Toronto spending 1.2, well, someone else is going to win it. The biggest club in the championship is Bradford Bulls. They've lost 2,000 or 3,000 supporters based on mediocre games, the wrong signings, in my opinion. Listen more to me, but it's very hard for you to. You're going to a club with a history of everything. And all the fans at the moment, I think, are going mid-table. We're not spending. Suddenly, Jack Walker. So all the fans now are going, get me season ticket. They've shown a little bit of excitement. And now the deal's done. You know, I'm not saying, let's say, Gary might say to Bradford, I'll give you a friendly, you know, whatever. I've not done the voice, I get told off in a minute. But listen, Greg, is if we do that, there'll be something there. But I think Bradford are going to be very close to Leeds this year. So here's another exciting exclusive. I'd say Bradford are going to get 3 or 4 players from Leeds. And if I know what they are, my God, you've got some absolute... You know them because you've trained with them.
I think I know one that's...
Well, there you go. I maybe know another one. So I'm looking and going, why are Bradford not being talked about as winning this? Because you with a team that are playing football, in my opinion, and I don't want to set you up for this, I don't want all assassins in championship going to break you, you know what I mean? That's the last thing we want. Yeah. So we don't want to say, oh, Jack Walker, and everyone saying bomb Walker and smash him, because at championship you're going to get some hammer.
Oh, you're right.
You know what I mean?
I'm expecting
they're going to put bombs on you from everywhere, and they're going to come for you, and that's what you do. But that's, hopefully people appreciate what you've done and see the honesty in you. But exciting for Bradford fans to see a player of your ability, and you're going to show them what we can do.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where does it follow, Jack? What's like? I'm going to ask you. Take away my agent's hat here. Where does this take you, Jack? What do you want out of this?
I think the main goal is to be able to perform, like you say, for 20 games at my best game, which should then hopefully attract the attention of someone in Super League. And then obviously from Super League I want to go international. You know, one day obviously hopefully, that's been my dream since growing up, is going over to the NRL. That's always been my dream. So I would not take this as you know, people, I've had a lot of people say, oh, it's all right to take 1 step back to go 2 steps forward. It's not, it's just another step towards, you know, achieving my dreams. And I think this is just the start of, you know, I'm only 23. I've got a long time to go yet. So, yeah, I mean, that's, if we play 20 games, hopefully straight into Super League.
At Bradford, we'll go in dreamland to finish it off. Bradford promotion. They offer Jack Walker. Massive signing. Leeds Rhinos come in and say, Jack, we've made a big mistake. Jack, what have we done? No comment. Don't answer. You say never say never. That's what you say. But yeah. Listen, we'll wrap it up there. I think it's brilliant. And like I said, very brave what you've done, Jack. And you're so positive. You've come today and I'm laughing at you as you're walking down. I'm thinking it's still Jack and he's still buzzing. And you know, I know that your thing, the social media, it might be mixed. People say, oh, why would he do it? Why is this? A bit of jealousy in there and all, Jack. You have to take that. Other clubs thinking, why would he do this? Why would he do that? I think it's the bravest calls I've ever seen, and me myself wish you best of luck, and I'll be there with you. Whatever happens, we'll be. I might even go and get a season ticket at Bradford just to watch you. I'm speculating getting Joe and Steph. Yeah, I'm serious. I might even going to tell you Bradford. There you go, discount. In fact, I should get free for taking you there.
You might as well.
Did I charge Bradford? No. Top man.
Bob on.
Thank you. That's a wrap, and please subscribe and watch Show with the Money Rugby TV. We're getting more and more views, and please subscribe and share, please. Thank you.